What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Danny Swift Garcia. Of course, we know Pacquiao did mention Danny Garcia as being a possible opponent into the future, overlooking the Sean Porter-Errol Spence fight, and either Danny Garcia or Mikey Garcia. Of course, we know Mikey Garcia did go to 147 to take on Errol the Truth Spence. And those are the particular fighters that Pacquiao has mentioned. Now, Danny Garcia was brutally honest. He was like, hey, I haven't heard anything from Team Pacquiao. I just heard from the internet that he wanted to fight me. They haven't got any offers or any things of that nature. So, he would love for that fight to go down. He would love for that fight to happen, but he thinks that he's more qualified than any other fighter because he's fought everyone from 140 to 147. So why not him? And what I say about that, I feel that Danny Garcia, first of all, he is one of the top fighters at 147. Now, we can't talk politics now because they're all in the same stable. But what we can talk about from Danny Garcia is the fact that you guys remember a few years ago, Manny Pacquiao, Team Pacquiao, they sent an offer over to Danny Garcia, Team Garcia, and they turned it down. It was for $3 million. Okay? Now, he turned that, or I think it was $4 million. It was either 3 or 4 million. And they turned it down simply because it was Top Rank. See, that's the type of Al Heyman style mentality that they had back in that day. Now, what's the narrative now? Oh man, I would love the opportunity to fight the legend. Pacquiao's the legend, so I would love to fight the legend. What can I do? He can fight who he wants. He earned that, Danny Garcia. And it's crazy because that wasn't the narrative 3-4 years ago. He was a legend then. He's probably a bigger legend now, to be fair. But then, he was still Pacquiao, And then they're turning down fights like that. Whereas before, like now, they're like, I'd love to fight him. But back then, they were like, no, it's not enough money and this, that, and the other. That just shows you what these fighters are and what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. And Danny Garcia wants that fight. Mikey Garcia sure would take that fight. And everyone wants Pacquiao, of course. Everybody. Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia. But it's one of those things, man, where you have to look at it like, well, is it because you guys are in the same banner now than you are allowed to? Is the hit out on Pacquiao now? You know what I mean? Does he have the target on his back now as opposed to a few years ago when he was more dangerous? That's my only question about it. Of course they want to fight Pacquiao now, but is it because he's with you guys now or because he's old or both? I think I will do a poll about that. Exactly. You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a poll to ask you guys, what do you guys think about everyone wanting Pacquiao? Because those, the only person I knew was calling out Pacquiao 2 or 3 years ago was Keith Thurman. To be fair, Keith Thurman was the only person that was calling out those guys. Pacquiao, he was calling out Mayweather before Mayweather, of course, retired. But, he retired like back in 2015. So he was calling out Mayweather a long time ago. You know what I mean? Then when Mayweather retired, he wanted Pacquiao. So, all these other fighters didn't want no such thing. Now they do. So that's something that I got to ask. Of course, you could leave it below in your comments to let me know if it's because of his old age, or because he's just with Al Heyman now, with the PBC. So that's my question. You guys let me know. Tell me what you think about Danny Garcia's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.